Hi there, vinyl community, or anybody else watching this. Yes, right, I thought I'd try something different. So I've been planning this for a while. Listened to 10 albums, called this video Music for Squares. Can't remember where that came from. They're all 80s, 90s albums. And some I bought at the time, some I liked. A couple I did not like at the time at all. So I thought I'd say where I stood with them now as of when I listened to them over the course of the last month or so, I suppose. Yeah, last month or so. So without further ado, not in any order, no chronological, maybe I'll give it a mark out of 10 or something, I suppose I could. Right, so Madonna. I've done videos about Madonna before. This is Like a Prayer, so her first sort of more adult album. It does still smell of that, what the original albums smelt of. I really liked this when it came out at the time. Now, the singles maybe would be considered a little bit overplayed. I suppose standout tracks for me might be like Oh Father, and the Prince song, which I didn't like at the time. Love Song is really good on here. It does sound like a Prince song, yeah, but it's got Madonna on it as well. Overall, it's an album I would say is in the right order, if you know what I mean. It's varied, probably a fairly good album to get into Madonna, I would have thought. Who would have believed, even after this, that she would still be like knocking about? I just saw the English comedian Sean Locke, that's just recently passed away, do a little sketch about her last night, and it was very funny. I advise you to watch it if you haven't seen him talking about her. Anyway, what would I give this out of 10 in the general scheme of things? Don't know, 7-ish, 8-ish, don't know. Something like that. Okay, so that was 8. Just slightly before that, a year before that, was it? Yeah, is Enya, Watermark. Enya, I would say maybe I have is it like 3, 4 of her albums, 3 on record. So this would have been her first proper studio one after she did the BBC one. And I knew Orinoco Flow. That is another one that was a single and sort of became a bit irritating after a while. Generally, I did enjoy this album, though. It's fairly easy to find. What else could I say about it? I don't know. It's that sort of certain Celtic-y sound that hasn't dated too much with 80s production. It's great, you know. Yeah, I liked it. Storms of Africa. Can't remember if one has been used in a film or something, or probably. I can't remember the names. This isn't going very well, is it? No. Maybe I just don't remember it like in that way. I remember it more as an album, straight. Yeah. Not distincting between any of the tracks, whereas the next one is, yes. So going back more to the start of the 1980s, this is 82. And is this the greatest selling album ever? It's certainly up there, isn't it? So this is Michael Jackson, Thriller. Michael Jackson, I grew up liking Bad, which had a lot of singles on it, a lot of good singles, and I think it's still actually a lot better album than this. This album, to me, it's got... I like the hits, but apart from the hits, it's not just the Paul McCartney song that is a stinker on here. Was there a couple of schmaltzy, sort of slightly ballady things on there? There was a couple that were awful on here, sorry. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know what to say about him. I mean, in retrospect, compared to Madonna, obviously he's dead now. Funny story was about Michael Jackson. When I moved to Finland, it was just at the just a few weeks into being there, he popped his clogs, and somebody sent me a text saying Jacko is dead. And it didn't really click at the time. I was just thinking about other things, being somewhere else. I actually thought it was her cat had died, and got completely the wrong end of the stick. Later found out and transpired that Michael Jackson, I don't want to say anything about him, no. One side of it or the other, no point. 1990s now. The second album by Oasis. Huge, made them big. Just saw James Griffiths' video about what was it, dumping someone out of a band sort of thing. So I don't particularly remember that they changed the drummer on this, but let's just see who it was. Anyway, I sort of enjoyed listening to this. I mean, I don't know that I'm particularly nostalgic about certainly not Oasis or Britpop drums. This is Alan White, yeah, so I don't know who the original drummer was. This is an original one. I did think when they got reissued some of these recently, I would sell the original and buy the redone one in Tesco's or whatever it was for 20 quid. Sorry, Tesco's supermarket in the UK. I would have to say this is quite average, really. Yeah. But then I think I maybe had the third one. I can't remember now. I think I had the third one. I know I've got it on mini disc, bizarrely enough. Yeah. She's Electric, I guess, is quite standout. And actually, Hello, the opener, is a good one, I think, as well. Yeah, maybe it suffers from being overplayed. Maybe a lot of these albums suffer from being overplayed. Now, this one, no, actually. I don't know if this is an anniversary of this or something. I hadn't really heard this. I'm not as familiar with this album now as In Utero, which I'm more familiar with. But never mind. I played this start to finish. I was doing washing up at the time. Common theme developing here. I thought this was great, and there was actually quite a bit of variety on it as well. There was a noisy one at the end, a feedback one, but this has so much going for it, I thought. And yeah, irrespective of the cover art and the guy trying to get the money out of Nirvana recently or whatever. Yeah, this on the back is my NME A to Z of grunge, which I keep in here, so I always know where it is. That was sort of almost like a little mini Bible sort of thing to find out about more bands at the time, which I did then. Anyway, I'd say this is a really good album, maybe because I haven't listened to it so much. So now, this would have been when I was at school. This is 87. This is Def Leppard Hysteria. Well, all the hits, I think all side one is nearly all hits. I was not so taken on this now. Is it dated? I don't know really. It was all right. Yeah, it was okay. Not so much to say about that really. Should have researched this really better, shouldn't I? But yeah. Def Leppard Hysteria. Of course, it was obviously they'd had a tough time with the drummer, and they'd had a coach crash as well, hadn't they? I think before this. I wouldn't necessarily go back and play it. I don't think a great deal, but we've had couple of people, Rob Ison, Alan, Static Traveller, talking lately about going a bit more in depth with music and stuff and why keep stuff or deeper stuff. And I don't know, would I just keep that just for the sake of it? I don't know really. Anyway, this is one Richard McCook did of Transvision Vamp versus the Primitives. Was that last week, I think? Anyway. I was very into this album and their first album, and Primitives as well, actually. This is a picture disc. It's a good album. It's probably a bit dated. Is it fashionable now? I don't know. What with this sort of 80s, 90s stuff coming back in again. Yeah, like Richard said, Born to be Sold, it's a Liszt song, so I'm not really very keen on Liszt songs. It's a love or a hate song. I think he said he didn't like it either now. But the singles, yeah, Baby I Don't Care does sound like they've just nicked the 3 chords from Wild Thing, the Trogs or something. They probably had, who knows. Yeah, that's that. I would still listen to that. I don't know whether that's nostalgia or what. Here's somebody who's not been feeling very well lately. Phil Collins. No jacket required. No talent required. And then also when I worked in record shop in the 90s, we used to call his other albums, what did we call them? Hello, I Must Be Boring was one. And what was his other album called? Face Value, No Value. Anyway, so I thought I'd plump for this. I've picked all these up for £1 somewhere or other. This wasn't actually that bad. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't like him, but I heard I haven't read his autobiography, but I heard it was really good read, actually, very honest sort of account. Here he is, same as me, no hair. It was good, yeah. Maybe I will listen to this a bit more now, and his other ones. I mean, I do like One More Night and In the Air. Yeah, it's from 1985. Yeah, another old person here. So I think Paul McCartney was one of the first people I got into as well. I got that I came in at the No More Lonely Nights and Frog Chorus kind of period of his stuff. Spies Like Us 7-inch I had and still got. So it's like his Paul McCartney and Wings. Yeah, I still don't mind listening to it, but people going on about Paul McCartney all the time and his new album or recent stuff doesn't really interest me so much, but this stands up pretty well as a greatest hits. I don't think this is my original copy. Yeah. And save the best till last, you might think. Well, no. But surprisingly, I listened to this. Now, this is somebody, I wouldn't say is a contemporary of George Michael. It's from 1991. A lot of you will probably have forgotten about this guy. He's from north of London, Hertfordshire. This was a big, huge album at the time. White Soul. I had an ongoing joke with a mate, and still do, that he likes this. One or two were quite schmaltzy ballads, but generally, this actually wasn't that bad. Whether I had very low expectations for it, I don't know. So it's, believe it or not, Kenny Thomas, the non-league footballer, Kenny Thomas and Voices. And yeah, this wasn't actually that bad. Not too bad at all, really. I would place it above, I don't know, I'd probably rather listen to it than Michael Jackson Thriller now. So that's old Kenny. Kenny, sure he must have done all right out of it. Yeah, Thinking About Your Love, that was a big hit, wasn't it? Yeah. He must have a nice house, hopefully, and he's had a good life, and maybe, I don't know whether he left the music business or what exactly, or if he just became, dated like a lot of pop music does, and then they get pushed out in a few years. Cynical. Okay, thanks for watching this. I hope you found it interesting. Yeah, music for squares. I just had this idea that it would be for, like, people that would have in that average record collection sort of things. They're all pretty much run-of-the-mill albums, maybe a couple of them a little bit more nostalgic for me, but then people our or my generation would remember. Thanks for watching. Bye. Comment if you want. Bye.